Yes, sir.
So EV is an opportunity for all of us. I mean, the larger opportunity everybody knows about, that we want to replace fuel cell based technology for vehicles to clean energy based vehicles. Right? That is how it is coming out. Now, when we are looking at that, first thing that happens is we need to understand that this is a complete transformation, radical transformation. Why? Because all the existing assets that we have, infrastructure, people, whatever, is now going to be null and void, and we need to rebuild and recreate the infrastructure after throwing away all of it. Right? So, this kind of a radical transformation actually creates opportunities as well as risks if not properly handled. What are the opportunities? New technology is coming in. We are reducing pollution. We are making the vehicle simpler because out of 3,000 parts, we are now using only 2,000 parts. Right. Then technology update, current technology is always easier to maintain. All these things are there. But what it also entails is education, because people were used to handling internal combustion engine or fossil fuel based vehicles will need complete retraining on the newer technologies that are coming, battery technology, how to maintain battery, how to fit battery, how to replace battery, similarly how to manage the vehicle, what kind of maintenance would be required. Right, all of these will be changing over. So we will need to, the human resource issue is the one major issue that we will need to take care of. जितने लोग आज के दिन में ऑटोमोटिव इंडस्ट्री और एंसिलरीज में काम कर रहे हैं, हाउ डू वी मेक देम नाउ वैल्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज फॉर द ईवी इंडस्ट्री?
But that, throughout the day discussion, that because it involves all the stakeholders. So there were the large auto companies who basically till now have been involving cars with fossil fuels only. They are also there. Then all these startups, the relatively
Right.
smaller companies,
So
the
I'm coming to
battery
that.
companies.
I'm coming to
Okay.
that. Point is, first, do we recognize the challenges? Right? This is one of the challenges, right? So for this, we require also affordability is another issue. At this point of time, till we reach full production volume as required by the market, the per unit cost of the vehicle is going to be far higher. So we need to have policies which make the whole thing affordable. We need to figure out how to develop technologies and products so the cost of development and product do not become exorbitantly high, which will happen if it is done by industry itself. Instead of that, now this is an opportunity where the industry looks at engineering institutions for research and development, which will reduce their cost, which will bring an industry orientation into the education of engineering that we are imparting. It will make the students.
But reduction of cost, what you were saying, is one factor. But unless the demand also doesn't grow, it's natural economics.
See, when we are talking about transformation, economic impact and human impact are two major impacts which we'll need to think through.
Okay.
At this point of time, I would think, and this is my personal opinion, is that we are still talking at the highest level, that there is a desire which we need to do. Have we drilled down to the last level which we need to detail the implementation plan to, so that these shocks that we are perceiving can be managed? At this point of time, nobody has talked about this. They may all be knowing about it. They may all be planning about it, but this has not been talked about. Right? This is, and as I said, this is also an opportunity for converting engineering educational institutions into practice institutions. That means you teach, get the student to practice, so that by the time the student completes the program, he is industry ready. Right? So there is an opportunity. So far, engineering has been taught like any other science or art subject. Class में पढ़ा दिया, exam दे दिया, pass हो गए, engineer बन गए. It doesn't work.
And the skill sets, like the last panel touched upon that point, the relevant skills. Everyone is interested in only the coding and the IT part of it.
That is one. Other than that, everybody thinks, and it is wishful thinking that changeover will happen. Changeover will happen, but it requires some steps to be done, and it is not an easy changeover, because we have so much. We are just replacing and trying to build something equivalent. Building takes time. So are we? And if we are talking about a 10-year plan to replace all fossil fuel vehicles by EVs, the kind of forces that we need to deal with the phenomenon, including socio-political forces,
Exactly.
right? People who will not be able to transition. That will be a sizable segment of people. What do you do with them? How do you manage them? Right? Then you have another situation like Ukraine war. where Russia has decided not to give gas to any country that is siding with Ukraine. Now, what do these countries do for power generation, which will spike up the moment you put up so many charging infrastructure and vehicles will require charging? At this point of time, it will be 150 kilometers. People who buy vehicles would like to look at least about 500 kilometers a day. Are we in a position to go there? If we are not, then the infrastructure needs to be that much more built up.
Even the morning session had one discussion, one interesting point on the pollution level. There is this general perception that pollution will go down significantly with EV, but the question is vis-a-vis if we compare with what fossil fuel the pollution was causing and the carbon footprint when you are charging the electric, you are generating the electricity and then charging. So, what is your opinion on that?
You have actually caught on a very important point where we are looking at one perspective of a situation. There are other perspectives which we are not touching on. For example, this particular point about pollution. Pollution will reduce, but what pollution will reduce? The pollution generated because of burning of a fossil fuel, right? But we have now lithium which is being used in batteries. Lithium extraction causes some pollution, right? Lithium by itself is a pretty toxic item, right? So how to manage lithium after its life is over is another issue. Otherwise, it will add to pollution, right? So these are some of the things that we also need to look at. So as I have said, just talking about the headline does not make the implementation happen. We will need to go down to the paragraphs, lines, and sentences and phrases, so that we are able to understand each aspect of transition to EV has multiple dimensions, and we are not talking at that dimensional level yet for each of these aspects.
And what about even the production of batteries locally? That also
Scaling up will take time. Let us understand that. Right? So one of the things which people are working on, which IITs are working on, are newer technologies of battery. Can we move from lithium, which is not readily available, it is limited amount, to something which is more readily available? Can we transition to some material which is not as toxic or more recyclable? Right? Can we have a technology which does not generate heat? Because whenever you use battery and you generate power, it is going to generate heat. So dissipation of heat will become another technology that we need to put in. So there are many such aspects: technological, cultural, as well as socio-political. So if we look at all of them, I'm sure this is something which will happen. But can we do it rapidly? Possibly not. We need
so
to
what
have
sort of time frame you?
I do not. I'm not from automotive industry, but I think when we are talking about replacing almost about 100 years worth of assets and learning, and replacing it with a completely new technology, which incidentally changes every 9 months. I mean, from a consideration point of view, it is a huge impact. So we need to think about it. It is possible, but we need to think in that level. That's what I say.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.